Welcome to Ace the Sales podcast, and I'm so excited to initiate today the Conversation Catalyst series, where in 9 consecutive episodes, we are deconstructing 9 elements of an impactful sales conversation. These conversation strategies will help you convert your prospect into paying clients, not with sleaze, but with ease. So let's get started with part 1. Fall in love with selling as you acquire the right mindset, selling style, and sales process that helps you take your business solution to more prospects, potential clients, and the world at large. If you are a women entrepreneur who is looking to get more sales, scale, and sustainability in your business, you have reached the right place. I'm Roshni Baronia, your host for the show Ace the Sales, which is all about helping you bring your authentic and influential self to each sales conversation. Before we dive into the series and today's top tip, let me first get the context clear as to under what scenarios you are going to use these 9 strategies. If you are a women business owner who is having a sales meeting, whether virtual or in person, with her prospect who is directly going to use your business solution. You are talking to the end user, and this is probably the first time you are meeting each other. So definitely you are going to use these strategies. The other scenario could be where you are having a conversation with a potential client when a few email and phone exchanges have already taken place. So an initial communication as to what you do and what they need has already been taken, and you are now meeting to discuss as to what you can do together. So regardless of where you are and what you are selling, you absolutely need to maximize the results of your sales conversation every single time. Because this is your dream client. You definitely want to work with them and do not want to let this opportunity go by. So you will be finding usage of each of these strategies in some stage of your conversation. The usage depends on your presence of mind. I am here by putting it in your mind in the first place. So one of the things that you would like to do early on in your sales conversation is to establish similarity. Now this is one of the most powerful principles of influence shared by Robert Cialdini, which states that we like to work with people who are similar to us, and similar to us in terms of interest, opinions, personality, background, etc. And since we like them, we prefer working with them as well. Didn't they say, birds of a feather flock together? So it's not only the prospect who will have an affinity to a solution provider who is similar to them, but you will also enjoy your work more, because when two business people share similar perspectives, attitudes, and activities, they tend to develop deeper business relationships. So how do we establish this similarity? One of the easiest ways is to find out about shared interests like travel, hobby, books, food, etc. Or place of origin like hometown, country, alma mater. In fact, this is one of the things which my father-in-law uses a lot. Whenever he meets new people, or even if he is getting some plumbing guy over for a small work, he always tends to strike a chord with them by asking them about their hometown. And by some or the other means, he gets a link to that place and manages to get a good discount even from the plumber. Well, he surely does not know about Cialdini. But then the point stays that we are happy to work with people who have something similar to us. So when you first meet a new prospect, you can break the ice by discussing things that you know that you have in common, which means you ought to do some research about them before you even go to meet them. Like it happened once when I was going to meet a particular prospect. I looked her up on the internet. I looked on her social media platforms, the LinkedIn, the website, and a few other places. And I observed that she was always dressed in Indian attire, saris and kurtis with very chunky silver jewelry, but in a very modernistic and very fashionable way. However, my business attire is mostly pantsuits, jackets with minimalistic crystal or pearl jewelry. And this was very contrasting way of dressing up. So although I wouldn't have worn a sari because it would have been very unnatural and inauthentic of me, but I did choose an Indian formal wear. So a smart kurti and straight pants is what I wore that day. And this was just to establish in a very subtle way the element of similarity. So you see that by directing certain aspects of your conversation towards things that you know you have in common, such as shared experiences, interests, hobbies, jobs, or any other common topic, you will enter the prospect's friend zone. And then making that connection with them will be a tad easier. And it will make your job as the salesperson. Yes, by default, every business owner is a seller. So as a salesperson, establishing similarity will help you make your job easier. So now, what's your to do? Think of how you are going to implement the principle of similarity the next time you are in a sales conversation. Because remember, closure happens only when you start with connection. I hope now you will get started with having impactful sales conversations, and hence tune in to next week, Thursday, for part 2, which is on the perfect body language in a sales conversation. So subscribe to Ace the Sales podcast so that you do not miss out on it. And before you go, please spare your 30 seconds to leave this podcast a review on Apple iTunes, Castbox, or the link given in show notes. And if you wish to get even more sales tips, small business insight, free resources, and latest podcast releases right into your inbox, sign up for the Sales Made Simple letters at bit.ly/SMS-letters. The link is given in show notes. There is immense value and insights that I send out only once a month to my email list. So do not miss out on this and subscribe to the SMS letters. Sending you good vibes and wishing you well, this is Roshni Baronia signing off.